I bought a Chest Zip Wetsuit. What I didn't realize was how hard it is to get into this Chest Zip Wetsuit. As you see, my hips have to come in through this little opening here. Guess how long it takes me to get into this Chest Zip Wetsuit.
Meet LabMariner, our home in the water, and her crew. Anubis, the huntress. Jim, the captain. Mocha, the camera dog. Nuala, the greeter. And Stephanie, the cruise director.
I'm gonna turn the electronics on. All right, we're ready to go.
We spent 2 wonderful days at Fowl Cay, and it's time to move on to a new adventure. So we are sailing south to No Name Cay, where we're gonna see some reefs and also check out the pigs. All right, let's go.
From Fowl Cay, we sail 50 nautical miles to anchor in front of Big O's on No Name Cay.
We are anchored off of No Name Cay, right in front of Big O's. Later today, we're going to go check out Big O's and see the pigs. Right now, we're getting ready to go visit a reef. There's a number of reefs on the Atlantic side of these keys in the Abacos, and we're going to go see the reef that's in front of No Name Cay. That is a new spot for you, Miss Nuala.
Mocha's spot for the afternoon, and Anubis' spot for the afternoon.
Bye guys, we'll be back soon. So we're going to try out the reef. It looks promising. We went over a couple of the reef areas and they looked pretty nice, and the water is really clear today, so it should be quite wonderful. So we just got back from Big O's and didn't see any pigs swimming up to greet us, so we just got up on the dock. And you wanted to go to the bar because you're not all that fond of the pigs, and I wanted to take some pictures of little baby pigs. So I took some pictures of the pigs that were there, went in, we got a couple drinks, and then we headed out, and I convinced you to take some pictures of me. You're not all that fond of pigs, as I've mentioned before, so I had to coax him into taking some pictures of me with the pigs. And I was taking a picture of one of the bigger pigs that was walking out into the water. Unfortunately, the pig was just going into the water to relieve itself. No swimming involved.
Example 1 why I don't like the pigs.
As I was filming this pig, all of a sudden I felt a push on the back of my leg, and I'm like, what is this? And it turns out that I got bit in my calf by a pig.
Number 2 reason why I don't like pigs.
It didn't break the skin, but I did have a little bit of bruising there, and it was a little painful for a few days. And what are some of the other reasons you don't like the pigs you've gave 2 so far?
Well, it's not really reasons why I don't like the pigs. The pigs are a great tourist attraction in the Bahamas. There's a number of places that have pigs, and tourists are brought over from the larger areas, and they come on and they feed the pigs, and you get to see them swimming in the water, and people even jump in the water and swim with these huge 2, 3, maybe even 400-pound animals as they're being fed, and it's kind of cool to watch. But ultimately, these are large farm animals that after interactions with these hundreds and hundreds of humans, they realize out of competition that if they challenge the humans, they're more likely to drop the food. And when they drop the food, they get a whole stash of food immediately, and they get to eat it compared to their brethren. And so over time, a large number of these pigs understand that making challenging moves to humans is rewarding to them.
And it's likely that they thought my camera in my hand was an object of food.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why I got bit.
It's not enjoyable when you know you're going to go up on the beach, and at some point there are going to be some pigs starting to challenge you.
And you have to look behind you. Like, we're
Yeah.
constantly looking behind us to make sure that there are no pigs, like, kind of circling around us.
I mean, after seeing the pigs 2 times or so, I'm kind of done with it. I will say that if you are there to observe the tourists that get challenged by the pigs, there's some humor in that. But as Stephanie has seen with the small bruise on the back of her leg, that humor can turn into an unfortunate episode. And some tourists will actually sit in the sand. And I'm not sure about you, but if I'm on a farm, the last place I'm going to be sitting is in a pigsty. But, you know, you see them sitting there and trying to feed the pigs as they sit down, you know, to each his own.
Exactly.
So we just entered the Whale Key Channel and are now in the Atlantic Ocean. And we have about 2.5, 3 nautical miles until we hit the Loggerhead Channel and we can get back into the Sea of Abacos. And there's a lot of fuss about the Whale Key Cut. And what do you think what are some of the main reasons for that fuss?
Well, number one, it's a forced in and out. In order to stay within the protected islands of the Abacos, there's one section that you cannot sail along the inner island area. You have to go out into the ocean, which we're at right now.
And that's between Whale Key and Treasure Key.
Right.
It's too shallow for anything but the lowest draft of vessels.
And thus, by going out, you are giving yourself to more of larger weather systems and larger energy forces. Specifically, the combination of current and wind can put together very fearsome waves and can be very difficult to sail in. To be specific, if you are going through either one of the cuts and the current is going against the wind, meaning the current is going one way and the wind's going the other, that is a recipe for very large, very steep, very fast waves. And fast, steep waves are very dangerous for boats. So it's very important that you try to avoid that scenario at all costs. To minimize any risk, the best thing to do is to look for lighter winds coming in a direction not direct with the current, and to go through the cut at slack tide, meaning there is no current. Because it's about a 3-mile jaunt, you may go in just 30-40 minutes before slack tide and then be able to come back into the islands around slack tide, and that's really the perfect scenario.
And you also want to make sure that the swells aren't too high, and they had built up a couple days before, so
that's a good point.
That the swells
that's a good point.
Are less than 4 feet. But it's definitely very doable. This is our 3rd time going through it, and each time it's been pretty easy. So
yeah,
it's
but
definitely timing it at the right with the right weather conditions.
We are looking days in advance, trying to make our timing issues work.
From No Name Cay, it's about a 12 nautical mile sail to Great Guana Cay, where we anchor in Fisher's Bay.
We're at Great Guana Cay, and this is such a cute location with all these beautifully painted houses behind me. And over there is Grabbers.
We head into the beach in front of Grabbers with the LabMariners.
So we're here at Grabbers with the LabMariners on Great Guana Cay, and we're going to walk around. Lots of piles of lumber.
Yes. The island is coming back.
The island is coming back.
Our stop at Great Guana Cay was a little over 2 years after Hurricane Dorian struck in September of 2019. As you can see, much progress has been made, with many of the homes having been rebuilt. Our destination is Nippers, which we'd heard was still not open. We'd like to check out Nippers because Jim has fond memories of visiting this bar before the hurricane. As you can see from these clips, substantial progress has been made to the structures, with additional work needed on the 2 pools, the stairs leading up from the Atlantic Ocean, and on painting the structures.
When were you at Nippers?
2013.
What was it like?
It was during the week, so it really wasn't very busy, and I also had a number of teenage scouts with me. So it was a bar. It supposedly had a lot of big parties, On Sundays they'd roast a pig, and they had 2 small pools, and it sounds like there were quite a few people around the world that have drunken memories of nippers. It caught on and became one of the quintessential Bahamian bars. They're starting to renovate it.
Did you and the boys swim in the pools?
Oh yeah, we swam in the pools, partook to their bar in a non-alcoholic way, as it was Boy Scouts, and just hung out. It was a very hot day. We have numerous pictures of the boys going and swimming in the ocean here on this side. The dogs certainly seem to be loving running around.
So that footage that we showed of nippers was about 9 months ago, so it's pretty old. And as you can see, it was all in the construction process. We've looked online, and it turns out that since February 28th of 2022, Nippers has been open for business. And the pictures are so cute. It's a pink and green motif. Everything's painted just beautifully, and it looks like such a super cute place. So we're definitely going to stop there on our way back through the Abacos so that Jim can relive some of those fond memories that he has of the place.
Now back to Grabbers to order a pizza and play some bar games.
2 in a row. 2 in a row. Can I do 3 in a row? Oh, almost 3 in a row.
An advantage. When we were in Deltaville, you used to play this whenever you went and grilled.
Yes. Grilling and this goes well together, as does beer.
I'm green and it's my turn. Guess who won 2 out of 3 of Connect 4? We watch a beautiful sunset and stay well past that. Not because we're having a great time, but because it's Bahama time and it takes forever for our pizza to come out.
We are leaving Guana Cay. We are heading to do a little snorkeling. It's supposed to be calm today, so it should be a good day for snorkeling.
A short 5 nautical mile sail takes us to Fowl Cay National Park, where we drop our anchor. This park is protected by the Bahamas National Trust and contains acres of coral reefs and rocky shores.
One thing I did not realize my first season in the Bahamas was how cold the water actually gets, especially in December, January, February, even up into March. I bought a 1mm wetsuit my first year and I froze half the time. I couldn't stay in the water very long. It was very frustrating. So this year I planned ahead and I bought a thick 3-4mm wetsuit. And I wanted it to be fashionable. See, fashionable. So in order to get it fashionable, I bought a chest zip wetsuit. What I didn't realize was how hard it is to get into this chest zip wetsuit. As you see, my hips have to come in through this little opening here. Guess how long it takes me to get into this chest zip wetsuit?
And that took 5.5 minutes. I think I'm totally exhausted now. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to go snorkel. All right.
We are at Fowl Cay Reserve. What's this dive site called?
Stephanie, you know these things. I don't know these things. I never know these things. You tell me where to go. I go here, and I never remember the names.
This snorkel site is called Tombstone Reef. So
Was that a request for me to appreciate all the things that you do and know where to go? Because I appreciate you. Thank you for taking us to wherever we are.
Tombstone Reef. So we're going to see what makes it a tombstone reef.
There are tons of reefs in the national park, some of them forming huge masses. So we decided to start at one of the more isolated reefs. The reefs that we visit have deep channels that allow for current to flow within the structure. We return to LabMariner to relax and to prepare for our next adventure. Join us next week when we sail to Marsh Harbor, Hopetown and Elbow Key, and Pelican Key National Park.